Hey, I'm Sean, and let's make comics. So today, I wanted to talk to you about one of the subjects that I think almost everybody who talks about comics has to talk about at least once, and that is WebToon, specifically how to get big on WebToon. Now, quick disclaimer, I am not big on WebToon, so maybe this is not something I'm qualified to talk about at all, but I do have a higher than average subscriber count. And that's really only by virtue of there being so many series out there. Now, I don't want to sound ungrateful, but I also don't want to sound like I'm humble bragging. So I'll just tell you right now, my main series, which is called Summoned Hero Hunter, it has over 5,000 subscribers. And to some of you who do not have many subscribers right now, that sounds like a ton. And to others who have so many more, that sounds borderline pathetic. But that's where I'm at. Okay, so it's over 5,000. It's like five and a half. At any rate, a lot of people are looking for how to grow their subscriber numbers. And for that reason, there are a ton of videos out there. And if you're anything like me, you've probably watched or listened to your fair share. And one thing that I've noticed in all of them, and no shade, honestly, I think people who make comics and who talk about comics and then make videos on the subject matter, genuinely, they're trying their best in a difficult field. So not trying to take anybody's sunshine here, but they tend to be overlong, these videos. And you're always hoping for, or I should say, I'm always hoping for some magic bullet, something that is going to propel you up the ranks and on the front page. But here's what it comes down to. How do you get big on WebToon is you get picked up by WebToon. WebToon has a whole bunch of categories, and as far as I know, the vast majority of them are curated by editors and not algorithms. And honestly, I think that's a great thing. I think having a human hand pick and select what they think is a promising new series or something that's a good exemplar of the genre that it's in, I think that's all excellent. But what it comes down to is how do you get big in WebToon is getting picked by an editor for one of these features. They have little features and they have big features. And that's it. That's how you grow your numbers. How do I know? Because that's how I grew my numbers. I've been fortunate enough to be featured on these little guys a few times, and I once even got the big canvas, big boy banner promotion, and that was very cool. And each time that I got one of these promoted spots, my subscriber numbers grew, and they grew substantially up to where I am today. I will say, this is not my first Webtoon series. If anybody really follows me, they know that before I did Summit Hero Hunter, I did a comic called Nigel, the Littlest Knight. And Nigel capped out around 2,000 subs. And I'm actually still very proud of that series. I love it, and I actually do intend to pick it up again one of these days because there's more to that story that I'd like to tell. But with Nigel, it's the same situation. I was just chugging along at like 5, 10, maybe 30 subscribers, and I was very seriously considering just stopping doing it because I was really wondering what was the point. I loved making it, but I just wasn't getting any traction. And then, fortunately enough, I got my first feature on that series, and that got me up to, or close to at least, 1,000 subscribers right off of that. And I got a few more features, maybe 2 or 3, and still only got about 2,000 subscribers at the end of the day, which probably is due to, well, the comic's a little rough in places. But at any rate, quality of my comics notwithstanding, what I really wanted to just drive home with this video, and I think it's going to be a pretty short one, is success in WebToon is something that is driven internally. It's an internal process. And as far as other things that you can do, certainly posting a quality comic is always going to be number one. You want to put your best work out there and hope that eventually it'll attract the attention of its audience or an editor to really promote your work and appreciate it for what it is. The other thing, and I am guilty of not doing this, is posting regularly. A regularly submitted comic does better because the audience knows when to check in, and regular updates aren't going to frustrate your audience. I again say this with a little bit of guilt because I'm not always the most regular when it comes to updating my comics. I sometimes take weeks off and I don't always post on the same day, but I just get so darn impatient. When I'm done with an episode, I just want to get it out there. At any rate, so publishing regularly, publishing a good comic, those are your best bets, but really those alone are not going to drive your subscriber numbers. And really the chief reason that I wanted to make this video, as short as it may be, is because if you are out there and you're on this platform specifically, and you are at the situation where I was with Nigel not too long ago, thinking, I'm just going to throw in the towel because no one's engaging with it, I'm going to encourage you not to do that. I'm going to encourage you to hang on and keep making the comic as best as you can for as long as you can. Because just because you're not getting those big subscriber numbers means nothing other than your audience hasn't found you yet. And again, this audience is largely dependent on an editor who is working as hard as they can, probably very long hours, likely paid less than they should be. So it's not your comic. It's the environment it's in. So I kind of talked myself into a corner here. I don't think I have too much else to say on this subject. One thing, I guess, that's kind of related is those first few subscribers that you get, and I'm talking about your very first subscribers. So before any type of feature or promotion from anything, those guys, you should treat them like gold because they are the sweetest. They are the best. Man, I love all my subscribers, whether you came in episode 1 or episode 2, but seeing that number grow those first days, it is encouraging. It does feel so good. And having people actually engage with you in the comment section, it's amazing. So even if you only have 5 subscribers, even if you only have 1 subscriber, and that subscriber is your mom, cherish them, especially if it's your mom. Because I tell you, I gain and lose subscribers somewhat frequently with my updates. I call it the churn. So I see a subscriber come in and then I see them go away, and I see them come in and I see them go away, and you can't pay too much attention because it'll drive you crazy. So you can become a little bit dull to getting new guys in. But those early days, when you have hardly anything, the amount of dopamine you can really squeeze out of your old brain, it's amazing. And so those new subs, those early subs, they mean a lot. So enjoy that part of the process. I'm sure the big guys over on the original side of the site who have tens, hundreds of thousands, millions of subscribers, they likely don't even notice the coming and going of a few subscribers here or there. So yeah, I imagine it's an order of magnitude when it comes to what it takes to really move the needle when it comes from satisfaction and engaging with your audience. So these early stages, enjoy them and cherish them. They mean a lot. So that's it. Again, this was a shortish one, despite the fact that I'm rambling on. If you don't have a lot of subscribers, don't feel bad. if you have a lot of subscribers, don't feel bad. It's a numbers game. Just keep on putting out your work as best as you can. Eventually somebody will take a look at it and they'll like it. And maybe one of these days you too can make a video about how to succeed on WebToon. At any rate, good luck, and hey, if you're not doing it already, let's go make some comics.